Alright, let's take a look at solving our worksheet here. We're going to be moving through this fairly quickly, but want to walk through it as well. A couple things that we see that yes, this is a polyhedron, and this one is as well, and this one of course is not. It's a bad looking end. One of the things that I will tell you is that when we start going through and looking at these, we do need to tell the number of faces, edges, and vertices. Faces are 6, edges 4 at the top, 4 at the bottom, 4 rounds, so that's 12. And then vertices we have 8, which fits our formula. Faces plus vertices is equal to edges plus 2. Here, faces, this is a decagon, so there are 11 faces. Edges, 10 around the top, 10 around the bottom, which means 20. And then vertices, there are 11 as well. Alright, let's go ahead and take a look down here. So, surface area of these objects. This one, just a regular old rectangular prism. Area of the base, which is 40, plus the perimeter, which is 8 plus 5, plus 8 plus 5, which is 26, times the height, which is 22. And I get that to be 612 units squared. For question number 5 here, I actually need to go in and find my slant height. So I'll draw that in. And then from there, I go in and figure that out. So this is 7. 11 squared plus 7 squared is equal to L squared. Solve for that. L is equal to 13.038. And now at that point I have all the stuff that I need. So pretty straightforward. Area of the base, which is 14 squared, plus 1/2 the perimeter of the base, 14 times 4, times my slant height, which is 13.038 again. Sorry about that. And so that means my area of the surface is 561.075 units squared. Alright, let's take a look at the next two. When we start looking at that, when we start looking at these next two, we see we've got some compound objects. And our work with compound objects can be difficult, or it can be fairly straightforward. So let's do that. We'll leave it right about there. Okay, so object number 6, we have a rectangular prism, which is this flat sheet. And I've cut holes in it, which means I've subtracted out the circles on the top and the bottom. But I've actually added in this space right in here. I've added in that space. So what I need to do is to find the area of the sheet, which is my rectangular prism. So area of the base, 30 times 22. And I know there's 2 of those. Plus the perimeter of the base, which is 30 plus 22 plus 30 plus 22, which is 104, times the height, which is 4. That gives me that. And that is 1,736. Now I need to find the areas of the circles, which is pi times 3 squared. And I find that to be 28.27. Now you'll notice I'm just solving for the individual pieces, and then I'm going to put it all together. Now when I cut out those circles, I took out those, but I need to get this strip, and remember that strip is just the circumference times that depth or that height. So that will be 2 times pi times 3, which is circumference, times the height, which is 4. And that ends up being 75.40. So my area total is equal to the surface area of the sheet, which is 1,736, minus 4 of those areas of circles, one top and bottom, plus 2 of those strips, 2 times 75.40. I solve all of that, just plug it into my calculator. and I get 1,773.40. Now some folks may get something slightly different, which is actually more of a function of rounding than anything. Okay, question number 7. I need to figure out the area of the base, and I have a regular polygon, so I need to find that area of the triangle. It's a bad looking triangle here, but if I draw that triangle out up here, it might be a little easier for us to see it. So, the hypotenuse is 10. I know that this angle is 18 degrees. 360 divided by 10, 36, and then half of that, which is 18. I'm going to solve for this piece, which will eventually give me that. So, the tangent of 18 is equal to x over 10. Solving, x is equal to 3.25. That means that s, which is just 2 times x, is 6.5. At this point, I have all the pieces I need. I need to solve for the area of the base, which is 10 triangles, times the area of that triangle right here, or this one. So 1/2, 6.5 times 10. I work that, and I get 325. Perimeter of the base, which I know I'll need. Well, there's 10 sides and 6.5 side length, so multiply that together and get 65. Now I can find my full surface area, So, area of the base plus 1/2 the perimeter of the base times the slant height, which is given 28.3. I multiply that all together, and I get 1,244.75 units squared. All right, now our last, on this side anyway. We're going to design we're going to figure out the amount of square feet on the edges, or the faces, if you will, of this object that need to be coded. And we're going to assume that doors and windows are negligent. As well, this is a house, so we actually know that there's a face on the bottom here. We don't need to factor that in. The trick is to actually go through and figure this in a fairly systematic way. We know that if I take this object and I look at it from the side, this is what I've got. This is 9, 14, 15. Now, I need to figure out this height. So if I look at that triangle, I need to figure out my h. Draw that better. Excuse me. This is 7.5. I can do Pythagorean theorem to solve here, and I get that h is equal to 5.66. At this point, I can now solve for the area of the base, the area of this flat surface, or right here. Because that's just the area of this rectangle, 15 times 14, minus the area of that triangle, which is right here. So that would be 1/2, 15, times the height, which I got to be 5.66. Solve for that area of the base, and I get 170.45. Now, at this point, I need to try and figure out the perimeter. And I'm going to take times that whole thing. And this is the only tricky part. Because I'm not actually doing anything with the base, I'm going to just add this piece, and this piece. So my perimeter will be 14 plus 14 plus 9 plus 9. And I'll do that. Which is 46. So now I can do my surface area. So my area of the surface, 2 times the area of the base, 170.45, plus the perimeter, which is 46, times 32.5, which is that depth here. And I solve for that, and I get 1,835.9 units squared. Okay, so this is the front side. I am going to stop it here, and then you can pick up the second version on the next recording.